and we can't hear me. Let's start over again. We are live and we are here and we have audio. And I hate it when I do that. And you guys have to just be laughing, which let's all laugh together. Karen, it's muted. Yeah, I had that muted from before because you know what I was doing? I was hanging out in the Discord with the beautiful live people over there, and we have that the lounge where you can put up a video and be watching somebody working on their lapidary and whatnot. And so we're going to be doing that after this live. But first, let's take care of the live that we have at hand right now. And that is Allison Prairie Girl Rocks is here with us tonight with a rebate on all of the meteoric goodness that we had on Friday. We got a beautiful package from her. It was all so much full of just crystal goodness that we're going to be checking out that stuff underneath the microscope tonight. There were plenty of tinies for the MICROZONE. There was wonderful fossils up in there. The meteorites. I mean, really, we can't look at the meteors yet underneath the microscope for obvious reasons. But there were also sapphires and other kinds of crystals like the gypsum and whatnot. Thank you guys for having my back in the chat, telling me all like, hello. Can't hear ya. All right, so Kid Curry's in the house, and Melissa's here. Tom Cat, Josh is here. Boot is here, and I just saw y'all. I just saw some of y'all over there, like I said on the Discord. Meg Mac is here. Thank you for finding us, and I saw your ears actually gave me the big heads up. Tiger Eye is here, and she was worried that she had lost her earring. Her hearing, and so no, I'm not trying to have anybody feeling like they're going deaf today. Sorry about that. Daniel was screaming, but I couldn't hear you. Yeah, you guys were all screaming. Jay Hick is here. The lounge is the cool place to hang out. Jenny was there too, as well as Jay Hick and Melissa. And I think actually Boot was there too, the Spicy Ken. And so Allison Prairie Girl Rocks is most definitely here. Tiny playthings are what are on the menu for us to play with tonight. Cannot wait. We'll be getting to that very, very soon. And Rocky is here freaking out about strange things. And Alabama is here, gonna check out some of the smalls with us tonight. And Jeff is here. And Jeff just caught up on Friday's video. Very, very cool. Thank you for checking out that live. If you haven't, you can go ahead and check it out and see where some of this stuff has come from. But we'll be taking a much, much closer look. And there was so much screaming. People were in the streets screaming up and down at the tops of their lungs. Okay, we'll try not to do that again. I think I've got a couple more of those left in my my bag of tricks. I'm sure we'll see. Uh, Catching up with all of the technologies is always such a pain. Always spinning those plates and something's muted or some camera's on that you don't hope it is. Anybody been caught on a camera that wasn't supposed to be on? That's always a good time too. Eric the cat is here. Steinkerns, everybody. What's in your moose tonight? I hope that it's something cool. I know a lot of you guys have been melting with the enormous temperatures that we've been having. I mean, Kyle turned in early. I was out doing some lapidary early on the flat lap there. Had to bring it inside because it was doing some overheating of its own. And Cody is here. So I wonder how many different Codys we have. All right. And I'm trying to make sure that I've said hello to everybody. Lava Bison is here. Good to see you as well. And the Spot is here. Yes. What's in your moose? Jenny, watermelon kombucha. Ooh, that sounds good. Over here, up in there. All right, cheers to you. That's fantastic. Trying to get hydration happening because it has already been quite a fun day out in the sun. And Daniel is going to be right back. Okay, we're gonna miss you there until you come back. And we have Spot slurping on a lemon slushy. That sounds absolutely fabulous as well. And what said before that we have going on tonight, we're going to look at the wonderful goods that Allison um, did bestow upon us. Cheers to you, Meg Mac. And also, I thought I'd show quickly some of the stuff that I was working on today here, because I thought especially some of us with weaknesses might want to indulge, and you'll see what I mean here in a second. And so I got to visit Kyle earlier this week. I got to share with you guys some of the moss agate that was from uh, over there on Maury Mountain here in Oregon, and I absolutely love this stuff. So that's what I've been working on processing, and I thought I would share with you guys what has been going on so far. And it looks like Vicky is also in the house, and thank you again for joining. And so I'm going to bring this guy up and look. I said something about it looking a whole lot like a pinata exploded. It's shrapnel all over my studio. It does still look like that. That stuff I just picked up off of the floor. And so here is some of what was going on. Uh, when I was working a little bit earlier today. We're going to see how long my phone lasts. Ex- excuse my fingernails. They are lapidaried up. And so what is going on here is this is one of our pieces of the Mountain moss agate. And I did show off on Friday that it has, this incredible mossiness. It goes like greens and ochres and reds and oranges, and it's fantastic stuff. And so what I could not wait to get my hands on, I'm going to get this wet, was kind of grabbing some of that and making some cabs. And so we are just on the shaping. I haven't even gone to on that high tech behind me, the brown. And so this is just it getting formed, but it's actually, if you guys look, it's the other side of that little druzy vug right there. And then of course I can't wait to get this guy shine, because it's gonna be left open backed and super also sexy with the with the light shining through. And so there we go. Druzy pockets and some super yummy moss floating through that colloidal goodness of the agate. And then yeah, left with that luminosity going on. And then this one, this was kind of, I was thinking a lot of Melissa or because this one also has a great big druzy pocket up there, nice and sugary. This is actually some Graveyard Point, make that a little bit wet. And it's from the same claim that I was allowed to go on as the Regency Red. And so it does dive into some pink there. You've got just a tiny bit of the red there in the druzy pocket. So beautiful. So excited to get that going. And this is actually some more of that same material. Let's see if I can't get it wet from my fingers here. And then that's the front. this guy, so more of the graveyard point plume agate and that kind of interesting ribbon that's making some interesting landscaping there is actually marcasite. And so it was kind of funny what was going on in Kyle's life today, had some mirroring into what I had on my lapidary situation going on as well. Yeah, you can see as the light is hitting it. That marcasite. Not quite as large pluming as Indonesia, but pretty darn good for Oregon. So that's going to be on the wheels until it's done. Um, probably tonight when we're finished here. And so as we're gazing at that, I'm going to catch up really quick here in the chat. Sweet little Vug, absolutely delicious, says Meg Matt and Osa Sessi. Of course, Rocky, right? Very pretty piece is what Eric the cat has to say about it. Colloidal goodness sounds almost naughty, right, Jenny? Trying to make words today. But it so fits. Yeah, some really really interesting and lovely stones coming out of the saw, and so we'll be getting more slabrific goodness as we go along, and then share more of that on the next live. But I mean, let's see, I can kind of show you that this is just some of them. That are coming along for this next batch that is getting worked on right now. Actually, some more kind of Melissa-ish ones. Those are both also the graveyard point pink plume that is associated with the Regency red, and also we were talking about the skewers when we were over there at Kyle's, and I was saying that I use barbecue skewers for DOPS, and that's no lie. These are barbecue skewers, guys. And so they do a great job not only with the wax, but also if you are using glue, they're actually almost better with the glue. I started with the bamboo skewers when I was using glue for DOPS, and then found out that they work equally well with the wax. And so carry on. But that was a conversation that we had that was also kind of making me chuckle while we were over there at Kyle's, which was a great live today, all weekend long for that matter. And I love how we can exchange lapidary tips with each other. And that was actually something that I found valuable going on over. I was listening while I was setting up for this live stream over there on the Discord, guys. And I'm totally excited about that channel where we can hang out in the lounge, because just listening to you guys talking about what you're using for polishing and what you're using on your slant lap as opposed to the wheels, and the hardnesses of the different opals and that sort of thing is so incredibly valuable for the community, that I'm thinking about like that channel would be very very cool to use as an open studio, that anybody could just be like doing studio time. And Melissa was sharing information about like which core drill she was using for her Fordham, and kind of assessing how useful the Fordham was for her. And so I think studio time in those channels would be very, very cool for everybody to just ambiently hang out. Like if you're in the mood to go ahead and start doing your studio with the camera on in the Discord, like this is the massive invite. Like I am throwing down the gauntlet. I'll go ahead and join in too. Like I'll probably be working on my flat lap with those cabs all evening long, and I'll totally be hanging out over there. I thought that was so cool. And Kyle says hi. Hi Kyle, just talking about you. Ears probably burning already into your moss agate. So fun. And here is Melissa. Yes, the channel is so full of potential. I love the sharing. And so we definitely need to be doing more of that. And Kyle says meowdy back. Right, meow. And skewer is a funny word. I've been skewered. But yeah, do you ever, especially when I'm writing, like I'll say a word and I'm like, that's such a weird word. Like, is that even right? When it's really late at night, I'll just be like, gosh, you know. It's kind of a vehicle for tripping out. And he Jay Hick was definitely the impetus for this particular session, and I think the ones before. And I got to thank you for that. It's fun to entertain y'all while I'm in my shop, and I just love it. It's the coolest thing ever. So we definitely need to do more of that. Thank you so much for cracking open that can of worms, and because I was always wondering about those channels down there, like what are they for and what do we do, and is it video and stuff like that? And I think I attended like a little kind of lecture thing on one of the other discords that I belong to, and I totally, like, even as like the person who runs that server, I was like, how did they do that? So thanks for doing it. I just can't get to everything. There's not enough coffee in my jars to go around for all these things. So thank you so much. Actually, Melissa and I were having like common thoughts at the same time, and we'd be almost like right next to each other on the comments on Kyle's today. And I was just thinking, like, oh my gosh, that's like braining wheels, instead of training wheels. And so thank you guys, all of you, and especially Melissa today, for being my braining wheels. And maybe we can all have each other's back in that regard. um, and let's see. We have I always tell new chatters that there are many smart and talented people at WOR. Oh yeah, no kidding. It's so true. There's so much wise to be had over there, and just hanging out, listening to what folks have to say about the different minerals that go by, and training your eyes. I mean, all of it is so valuable for sure. That's such a great community. And right now, while I'm thinking of it, and before we get Allison over here, World of Rockhounds, I was stumbling over words. World of Rockhounds has a Discord now too. So pleased to announce that. And so it's just starting to get built up right now. And it looks like it's going to be a fabulous platform for both hanging out on, but also Kyle intends to be putting some of this stuff up in between live sales there, so that you can do spread out some of your shopping all week long, which is such a good idea. And so if one of the wrenches wouldn't mind putting up the link to Kyle's Discord, it would be super duper awesome for y'all to jump on in there. And so yeah. um gotta have our all of our backup brains in operation. That way, with that kind of redundancy, when one or more of us checks out in the frontal cortex capacity, then somebody else can go ahead and swoop on in and help us. And so you guys probably saw during our opening scenes some fantastic microzone already happening. So let's get Prairie Girl Rocks girl up here and into the goods. Let me take this down and then do this. Here she
Hello.
Good to see you again, bright and sunny
Yes.
face.
Yes. Same goes. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna unplug that so we don't get a buzzy sound there.
How are you doing today?
Good. How are you today?
Wonderful, thank you.
Good. How's everyone in the chat today? Good, hopefully. Yeah,
You guys
I
are all
hear.
on mute. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Screaming. I hear so much screaming.
Gosh, if only. Can you? One of these days, I mean, that's actually one of the upsides of the thing in the Discord is everybody can be engaged at the same time, and so we're all chatting, and it's got a nice noise reduction. So when somebody's rolling their wheels, like on their cab machines and stuff like that, it'll actually cancel. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. So
Yeah.
definitely cool to jump in on. But we are rejoining your wonderful package. So uh, you maybe saw in the slides that we had that fantastic piece up. And I think that's where we're going to start, just so that you guys can get your own eyeballs. And if you feel like you want to zoom in on something in particular, then shout even louder at me. And hopefully I will be able to hear you. But do you have any comments to start off with? The piece that I am talking about, guys, is this piece here. And we would love to hear a little bit more, especially if if somebody's joining. Oh my gosh, I want them all. I'm coming to Montana right now to raid your house. Look at that fistful of better than dollars she's got there. So tell us a little bit more about this material if you can.
This is a rock that I got at the auction up in Canada. And so I really don't know what it is. I know as much as you do about it. I know it's beautiful and it's really fancy, but that's really all I know. I know that once I cut it, I couldn't stop cutting it.
Right?
Yes, because
Yeah.
like you said, like dollars, but and then even more like to share, to share, to share. Like everybody has to see this. So yes.
It's so pretty. I mean, it's got all the things. And when we take a closer look, which I'll go ahead and get us dialed in to do that right now. And like, do you have any announcements that you want to make here up at the top of the show? Like what you're planning on putting out as far as videos or live stream and stuff like that?
I am working on a collaboration with Prairie Kid. A new
Ooh,
video. I kind of hope to get it done today. Maybe I'll get it done tonight. Maybe tomorrow.
all
Maybe
right.
Wednesday. We'll see. In the
Perfect.
near future.
And we know that we've got another live stream as per tradition coming on Wednesday with our coffee, right?
That's right. Yes.
It just doesn't feel right. I will wake up on Tuesdays sometimes thinking that it's Wednesday and be all excited, and then it's like it's only Christmas Eve. Like,
I did that the other day on my Friday. My Friday falls on Tuesday. And I was like, booyah, it's Friday. It's Karen tonight. And I'm like, no, it's Tuesday. It's just my Friday is all. Not everyone's Friday.
We wish we could all join you for Friday on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Maybe we have to do that. Have a secret Friday on Tuesday club.
Love that.
Which isn't so secret. Like everybody's invited for that. Dave is in the house. Good to see you, Dave. Thanks for joining us. And so let's get this bad boy like coffee twice. Yes. Well, I'll tell you what, like I still have coffee behind me because I'm still rolling up. And Allison, tell us about like you were kind of needing to roll up late today too.
Yeah. I saw the sun come up this morning, and it's not because I got out of bed early. It's because I went to bed early. Yeah, we had a show. It's like a good 2-hour drive from here, and by the time we finished playing at 2 in the morning, loaded our stuff up and left at 2:30 in the morning and drove all the way home, it was like 4:30 in the morning, and the sun I can tell you starts coming up at about 3:33 and is just about to peek over the hill at 4:30. So sun comes up pretty early this time of year. I wish it did.
So weird.
I wish it did all year round, because it doesn't in the winter. It gets, our days get so short in winter, but in the summer they get so long.
Yeah, I'll take more sun in the summertime for sure.
Yes.
But it is strange. Like Steve will get up in the morning and it'll be like 5 and he's getting ready for work and I think it's time. And I'm like, oh, 5 o'clock. No.
Yeah, for sure.
The sun is like, no, go back down.
And I had to wear my seriously shirt tonight because I think we're going to be saying that a lot tonight. Seriously? Like, seriously, Dave Lou, you rock.
Oh my gosh.
99 chat there, super chat. Dave Lou rocks.
Seriously. We got a different bell.
Yay, I like that one.
All right. And this one actually, y'all, when I had my gallery, the ozone, this was on the door. And so every time somebody came in, like the lucky bell would ring and I would like look up from the lapidary machine or whatever. And so yeah, we're ringing the sacred ozone bell today. And
I
thank
love
you so
that.
much, Dave. Really, really appreciate that support. And that definitely goes to this slick platform and the music that we get to use and all those things. Believe me, it really, really helps put this together month to month in the biggest way. So thanks again for that. Ring my bell. And so, shoot, there was another thing that I was thinking of. And I'm sure that it will bonk me on the head, or Melissa will put it in the chat. Here's what
Right,
you're thinking.
right. Here's your branding wheels.
Right. You'll think of it. But let's bring this bad boy up to the stage and bring it into some focus. And so what we have here, this is the dry version. And this is what I was talking about on Friday with sometimes if something's polished, you get a better look at it, because if I make this wet there, it'll reflect. And yet, if it's sort of just cut, then sometimes we get the saw marks, or, you don't get to see quite accurately enough some of the structures. And you saw how just fabulously thin this was cut. And so also, we'll slide that backlight up back in there in a second. But I wanted to ask y'all some questions. For one thing, this is like a wanted poster. Does anybody recognize this guy?
For sure.
Because if you do, the men in black are looking for this thing. We would really love to know what it is, but look at the spectacular color variation and look at the forms of those crystals. I mean, those are so elegant, those diamond shapes. How did that happen? Anybody have some ideas as to why those crystals are the way that they are in this gorgeous, like lavender, pink, red, gold, white soup that we have? And let's see, it is a beautiful rock. Okay, identification mastered. We'll just
Agree, right? That's all I can say about it too.
I totally agree. It's easily one of my favorites too. I don't hardly know what I'm gonna do with this little slice, other than perhaps it just goes in the case and that's it. And I'll just gaze with the microscope occasionally. One of the things that I thought was really, really flippin' cool is we'll pan in just a little bit. So we were starting there at about 10x, guys. And we're getting a little bit closer. You're getting a better look at the structure of these diamonds is where I'm like tripping hard. So we almost have a starter of some kind of almost metallic material, so maybe an iron or something like that. And then we have these great diamonds that look like they almost are some kind of an oxidation that has happened around the crystal. And so please, if you're like a geologist, then help us. But as we get closer, look at the fortification lines in the agate. So this is like, for if you're trying to name names, we do have agate here because we do have fortifications. And so this isn't just a, say, jasper, or it could be a jagate, but given the thin slice, I'm going to place my bets in Vegas on this being also like quite translucent, other than if these bits that we have the diamonds around are metallic. And so I don't know, I'm just trying to sleuth here. What do you think, Allison?
Doug says in the chat that is it a Burrow Creek agate variation? Excuse me just one second. Will you guys please be quiet? Thank you.
Now they're gonna, they're gonna throw more stuff in your direction, like just because. So, yeah. So, is it a Burrow Creek agate variation? Very good suggestion. We can look farther into that. I can, if anybody knows of some good sources for images other than the Googles, then we can go check that out. And then we have Ken up in here, oxidation or another mineral coating. Yeah, like a post-morph.
Yeah.
And I like this, Dave. It's pretty though.
Hmm.
Heck to the yes. I have to agree with you. I'm just like so over the moon about this material. Like I think I need to wear some of it actually. And so I think I might have to chew on that slab a little bit and make some stuff.
Agree. And
Um
there's more, Karen. It's okay. There's more.
I know, but
I know, but it
it's so precious. And
is
we do have
pretty.
pseudomorphish. Pseudomorphish sounds like something that's like belongs in an aquarium.
Or
Like
that you
it's
could order at some like downtown sushi bar or something. But
right.
yeah,
The pseudomorphish. Oh, that would be a great idea for a sushi roll. Like a geologic sushi roll is like the pseudomorphish. I love it. Um, okay, that's gonna have to happen. Maybe Melissa can have like a sushi bar inside her cocktail lounge and gravel bar. It just depends. I think the gravel bar side has to have like some good like finger picking bands and stuff like that in it, and of course the cocktail bar has to be a little bit more. But I tangent. Alas, I tangent. Um, and so Rufo is in the house, just popping in while between stores. That sounds like a good time. Hopefully, you're having a good time in between stores. And let's see, we've got pyromorph agate. What is this? And Rufo, we don't know. So help us if you do. And maybe since we have Kyle in the house also, that perhaps he knows. And it looks like Lisa is in the house too. Hey, hey. And Lisa's got eyes on a bunch of stuff, so perhaps knows what this could be as well. Fake sushi roll for vegans. That's great. And let's see, I saw another one in here. What's this? Pretty sure they cook that in Scandinavia. Fish. Yeah, that sounds great. Can somebody say that for me? And here's a guess. I like this. Blue zircon with agate. Okay. Zircon would be so rad. And then you know that if this is true, then Allison will be sending out no more slabs.
yeah, and then Joseph says farther down Zircon Studio agate. That's something I've never heard of.
Okay, where are we with that? I'm the zircon. Joseph says, where is that? Um, hmm. Do I have all of the chat here?
Yeah, because you've got Joseph highlighted above with the blue zircon agate.
Right. And so we have another one from him.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Mhm.
Okay. Huh. Thank you so much for those suggestions. And like if anybody feels like they want to hit the Googles right this second, feel free and we can maybe crack this case right meow. And we're gonna get closer. So we're probably at about let's see, 20x or so. And so maybe that might help a bit. And look at like it looks like there is some serious fry on whatever minerals are making up these cool sort of florals. See how they're fried on the edges, like almost again like an iron iron dyeing fry. if that makes any sense. You can see like that they're yellow except for where perhaps, if it was hydrothermal, they were coming into contact with some of the silicate material that was carrying the oxidized stuff that's turning those guys ochre over there, but also is frying these guys over here red, if that makes any sense. And this is like, you guys, this is what I do alone in my studio, like for hours. Is like, how did it be this way? And, setting up potential scenarios for how we got here. I like this. Lisa says it's a Van Gogh. Yes,
It
I
is.
agree.
It is. And then
Starry,
when I try to
starry
tell
night.
people too, like, I'm sending you this agate and you've got to look at all the tiny shapes inside. And then they're like, the tiny shapes? Sure. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, for real.
Right,
Yeah.
Allison?
Yeah.
No, get closer. Like, with your loop and the nose touching
Yeah. Yeah.
the stone, you gotta get closer to
Look at all the
this.
tiny shapes.
Right? And
Hmm.
I like this. Okay, where we are having a group psychedelic moment. The red dots remind me of platelets, a common agate feature. Yeah, we definitely have some interesting platelets going on here. I would agree. I see lots of diamonds, though. Yes, this diamond shape is prevailing as far as the crystal structure goes. And so, yeah, we need to, or a parallelogram, or however you want to parse what shape this is. Oh yeah, man. It's a nebula. Absolutely. And so, we've got this, though, maybe not pyrite, but another metallic that is that shape. This is exactly where, my like the you can smell the skid of the rubber screeching on the highway of my brain, that like but wait, why these shapes? And this is where my knowledge ends. Like, I don't know why this particular crystal structure, please help. But very, very cool. And this is a good avenue of thought. Is it thought to be Canadian or just bought in Canada?
He
Do we
had
know?
stuff from kind of all over. Like, I know for sure I saw Montana agates in a lot of that auction stuff, but I don't know. And then a lot of like the dino bone and stuff that was there, I would assume probably came from like Utah. And so I know for sure there was a lot of stuff that wasn't just from Canada in the auction. So it could have come from anywhere. I don't know if he had stuff from all over the world or if it was just stuff he'd collected like continentally. I have no idea.
All right. And
I can't
so,
be more helpful. I'm sorry.
no, I think that's one of the problems with getting stuff from estate sales is provenance.
Mm-hmm.
And so, sometimes something is just utterly recognizable. And then other times it is just one of those things where perhaps at some point during the course of many decades, a bunch of material fled out onto the market, or this person collected it, or whatever, and it might be gone forever. The
Mm-hmm.
things have ebbed and flowed even in the rock market so much over the course of decades, that you have something that's very, very hot, and then they run out of it, like the mine runs dry, or whatever, and then it's gone forever. And so it's kind of cool that way, as far as we are having trouble recognizing it, which does give it at the very least some pretty cool uh, exclusivity. I do like that. And we are looking deep in space. I mean, it's funny because we are going to be looking deep in space soon, because we're looking into meteorites, but why not just start now? It's a theme with Allison. And we have the Jackson Pollock. All right. Yeah, the splatters look like that.
And then we've got an I second the cinnabar and pyroxene motion made by Lisa Largent and Joseph Case again. Boy, I hope that's not cinnabar. I don't think I gloved up and stuff when I cut that. Masked
Uh,
up.
yeah, that is interesting. Thank you so much for that.
Does it
And
look like cinnabar with your naked eye, Karen?
yes, and I'm gonna say that
Okay. Don't lick rocks.
You're fine. You're fine.
Don't lick
It's gonna be
rocks.
okay. Don't snuff nor lick them, but or huff or whatever. But we have cinnabar mines nearby in one of the places that we do like to go find thunder eggs, and it can be an inclusion. And what's interesting is there's also a lot of that sort of purple stuff going on there as well. And so I'm wondering if that's not one of the also telltales, because it's one of the only places in Oregon where I know to find purple inside thunder eggs. Uh,
Interesting.
yeah, more on the regular than you'll get the occasional, say, from the Madras ones and that sort of thing. But yeah, now that you say,
Right?
yeah, because
Good.
there, yeah, there was a
Good.
cinnabar mine there that used to produce lots of cinnabar and mercury.
You know
So
how
what?
jealous I'd be if this really is like an Oregon local stone? Like we're all coming to your house then. Like
Yeah,
we were
right.
all coming to my house and now we're gonna turn around and shift gears. We're all coming to your house.
And then actually Cheryl's got this guess here, which would like put you a little bit more off the hook as far as it being poisonous. Could be rhodochrosite and agate. It could be, we don't know. And so one of the cool things is Allison did the solid of slicing this thin enough that we can get it underneath the other microscope. And so and I did promise that we would be taking out the stronger microscope. Probably since we have a lot of material to cover tonight, we'll do an even more micro zone with the high power, and just start off with that and do some of the specimens of this and the thin cuts on the meteorites and some of the other things that are going to be really super fun to look at, like the the foraminifera in your fossils and et cetera and so forth. So we
Really?
will do
Is
that.
there forms in there?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
We got forums. Yeah,
Yes.
I was like, again with the loop, I'm like my nose is like getting crushed into the stone so that I can get a closer look. But yeah, we're gonna be hanging out with like the little buddies, the little ancient buddies underneath the big microscope.
Awesome.
So yeah.
And Yahik says probably not cinnabar. So thank you for that. Even if you're lying to me, I appreciate your kind words there, Yahik.
All right, we'll take it.
Yeah, yeah. And he has a good point. That since it's silicated, it would probably be pronounce that one for me, Karen.
Where is that? Where are we? The Merictite or whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
Mericite. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Myricite.
Yes.
It might be
Instead of
tomato,
cinnabar.
not entirely sure. Cool. Wow. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jayhik.
That's a
And
lot of that's a
I like
lot of
this very much.
yes, a lot of information to soak up just in that one piece.
Totally, totally. And we have Kurt is in the house. Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming. And it is beautiful no matter what it is. And can we see the whole piece again quickly? Yes, you can. And so what I'll do is let's see, how do we want to do this? I can do this, and I'm going to swipe this off and do this. So that's what it looks like, in my hand. And like I said, awesome thin slice. And then we'll do this here really quick. Bring this bad boy up. Oh, and here, let's do this. That's it. Wet in all of its glory. Look at that. I mean, you guys know why I was just super weak in the knees. And
Mm-hmm.
that piece actually has some even better fortifications. So you can see
Mm-hmm.
how most definitely agate-licious that is. And Doug, is that helpful? And Myricite is oh, wait, no,
Mm-mm,
that's
I
not
have not,
it's
Joseph,
flipped by,
on hardness.
is
It's
silicated
silicated cinnabar.
cinnabar.
Good deal. Good deal. Good.
Oh, no. We're gonna try to we can run, but we can't hide, Allison. And so, here's our light. Uh, I'm trying to knock it into everything. And there is, so we have both the agate bits that are very translucent, but it does look like when we dive into, the areas that have the minerals, it discontinues being translucent at all. And so once again, it looks like, we have metallics and some pretty heavy business in the opaque areas. And so if that helps anybody trying to figure out what in the hay we are looking at, maybe that does. And so let me take this guy back down, and not that. So shall we look at a meteor next? And you guys are all welcome to look back at the live, and by all means, if you want to do some detective work, we would really, really appreciate it. And so keep us appraised of all of the things that you may find. And I'm here digging around in the rocks. I'm looking for the dog poop, um, which I thought I organized together with the other nice thin slice. Maybe we start with the thin slice. Are they the same, Allison, the dog poop and the thin slice that you did that have the stickers? No, they're different ones? Okay, good. Well, then we're going to get a little bit of an eyeful of all of them. And I'm going to try to take this out without performing surgery on that crack. And now we've got that going. So yeah, Boot was talking about just working. Jayhick was just working the Burrow Creek, and that was beautiful. It was this insane, pretty purple stone that was ridiculous. And so let's get this up here. So
Doug's
this is
confused in the chat. Let me clear something up for Doug.
Yeah.
We use the abbreviation DSM to describe our dog crap meteorites, or Karen used the poo word, so we could make the new abbreviation DPM for dog poo meteorites, just meaning that they're so weathered and worn out, and they're just not even worth getting classified because they're crumbly and there's just a single stone found, and they're just an ordinary chondrite, things like that. And so, they're definitely not like a serious collector wouldn't cut and put that in their display as a specimen. But somebody like me and Karen, who's interested in it for science, it's less than a dog crud meteorite. It's really fascinating for us. But that's where the poo comes into the meteorite discussion, is that it's comparing it to.
Larson with a pretty rockin' now. Let's look at this dog poop.
Exactly. Yes.
If I had some fossilized canine coprolite, it would be sliding right underneath the microscope right now. Right meow. Okay, so what we have here is the thin section that you sent me of the meteorite, and what do we have to know about this?
It's full of beautiful chondrules, as we can see, and the chondrules are those little round things that we're seeing in there. And so basically, those were dust bunnies, cosmic dust bunnies. And they float around out in space long enough that they can be gained into a rock or a parent body of some sort, which may be further smashed into tiny bits and reaccumulated into larger bits and maybe smashed. But anyway, those are literally the makings of planets, comets, asteroids, things like that. Is all of those little chondrules in there. They're basically the prehistory of our solar system.
Nice. So when Carl Sagan is talking about the fact that we're all walking around with stardust in our hair, this is some of it.
This is the stuff, yeah. Yeah.
This is the stuff. All
Yes.
right, and so I left it, unwet at the moment. I'm wondering if I should make it wet so that we can see some of the variation more, but also we're seeing oxidation, and so I wanted
Hmm.
to point that out before doing anything. So I'll take both, like, talk to us about the oxidation, and then also, should I make it wet?
Yes, you can make it wet. Just be sure to get it dry quickly when you're done. Um,
Okay.
and it is oxidizing, and so it's going to continue to oxidize. Again, it's kind of a crummy specimen, but we do get to see the chondrules.
And, after all, like, that is, uh, cosmic pay dirt. So,
Yes.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to center, like, there's this pretty circle, right? Yeah. I have the same thing going on with my microscope camera as y'all, when you're trying to do the opposite,
Hmm.
camera thing, and so I'm gonna move all the way around this circle trying to get it into the center, and there we go. So we kind of have, at the bottom of the exposure bar, you can see the, there, right there we have that
Hmm.
would be a condyle, yes?
Hmm. Yep.
Okay. And so
Definitely.
let us, before we mess with, getting things wet, let's zoom in on it so that we can have a look at this. And so the chondrules, they could be from anywhere. They're just super spacey.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And they're, silicates and other materials.
So here we are getting like, um we're about half the way there. So this is only about like 20-25 magnification, guys.
Hmm.
Um and what's interesting is you can really see, like, just like when we had our NASA scientists on, and she was talking about the blueberries on Mars. We've got a wonderful little blueberry. Those blueberries are made out of iron, and you just have to wonder what this blueberry is made out of.
Hmm.
But
I
we
wonder
definitely know that.
if that's some really, really limonite stained metal to the top left of that frame. So just above that little chondrule.
Am I getting it?
That was the top
Are we
right.
there, or it was the other side?
But I think there's a big chunk up there too.
How far? Am I there yet?
Either way,
Some more? Do I need to pan out
no,
for it?
no, no, right there.
We are
Now,
there.
just on the left side, we see a lot of that yellow, which had been mentioned before. Is that limonite staining? Yes, it probably is. But there's like mm, a couple of rather dense spots of that yellow. Now there's just one left there, just to the visually to the left of the chondrule.
Is it the pitted, yellow sphere?
I wonder
Okay.
if there was some metal there that is completely corroded into limonite there.
Yeah, okay, so let's see if I can daintily, so now we have a few of them. We have, like, 1, 2, 3, and a little
Yes,
constellation
yes.
there. How cool is that, guys? Alright, so you bring in some, and that is at 40x, and so those are little itty bitty particles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting to see, now that we're getting closer to the matrix of the entire body, how small some of these particles are.
Yes, yes,
Wow,
super fine grained.
very. And so
And
this is
there's
definitely,
no space in between of them. They're just completely compact.
yeah. Manny is in the house. Let's see. He's talking about, wait, licking it could be like a superhero origin story. No,
Could
don't lick
be.
the meteorites or the, mystery stone with the cinnabar perhaps in it. Yeah, and, Ken and I were indeed talking about this, just today and yesterday. So, Yeah, there's other ways to get superpowers other than the spider bite. We're
Mm.
talking about radiation and some of the other ways that you can become a superpower or a superhero. And let's see what powers could be bestowed here. Anybody want to chime in with what kind of powers we're going to get? And is anybody coming forward to looking this? I guess you'd have to come here, but it is super intriguing the fact that this is so compressed. And so in a world where there is no gravity, how does this happen to a rock?
Exactly. Because there is microgravity is all it takes over an extreme amount of time. So, and those things, as vast as space is, eventually they're going to bump into each other, especially if they're in a busier, dirty spot where something like a big collision has taken place.
Dirty spots in space.
Yes,
This is what
dirty
happens.
space spots. That's why we have meteor showers, is because we're going through a dirty spot in space.
Right? Okay, so which one needs to be cabbed? Is it the cinnabar
Cabbage.
potential or this little guy? Because
You can polish this. It's going to keep rusting and corroding, but you sure can.
so there's the other pieces, the other chunks of poop that I could definitely put a shine on. There's a little bit more material in those guys where a shine could happen. I still have to keep on. You just reminded me that I'm supposed to be looking for the other poop. And let's see.
And we really don't see a lot of metal in this one. We did see a little, couple chondrules, and we still see kind of a faint one there off in the bottom of the screen, bottom right, but not a lot of metal in this. So, and the amount of chondrules we have versus the matrix and all of those things are what tell people what kind of meteorite that is, and it would definitely be some kind of an L, low metal sort of thing. All of the metal that it did have is corroded, is gone, is weathered out.
So it's true. Most meteor showers are when Earth passes through debris left by comets and asteroids. Yes, absolutely. And then we have this over here about two meteor showers this month. Don't we have, is it the Leonids or is it the Pleiades? One of those things is supposed to happen, I believe, coming up soon in a sky near you. And actually, when we were out camping last week, we saw a ton already. So it like, I promise you, it was not the cider that I was drinking. Getting hit in the head. And here is an interesting question: would storing it in oil stop the rust process? Says or asks off Uraka Manny.
It can stop, where it is currently at. And I've heard of some of our other meteorite guys and on irons using things like automatic transmission fluid to keep them from rusting, but I don't know how much you'd want that soaking into your chondrite. So
Yeah.
the best thing to do is to use desiccant to keep them dry. But again, this is an inexpensive, just for the sake of science piece, and if it rusts, it's not a heartbreaker.
Till I'm on your doorstep crying.
Yeah.
Then I have a feeling like that there might be something in your case that you might feel
Yeah.
sorry for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's so much prettier stuff in my case, but I wasn't ready to part with it just yet. So
Oh,
we're
heck
looking at the
no.
DSM first. But we have nowhere to go but up from here.
Right. And
Right.
I can always bring the big boom microscope to you.
Yeah.
And that's not Big Bang, it's Big Boom, It's a totally different thing. All right. And so we super thin glue. I wonder actually, would that be
Yeah.
something that would
Yeah. And
stabilize the meteor?
Cody had mentioned that up above. What about coating it in polyurethane? Yeah, any kind of paleo bond or any of that professional grade sealant works great. Yep.
B72.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's actually archival and you can remove it. So
Mm-hmm.
that would be probably the ticket. Now I'm
Mm-hmm.
wondering, in that case, it's the solvent that it's in is acetone. Would that have any weird effect on your meteorite? Not any more than like life, right? It's been through
Right.
space, Karen.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't you worry about your like little acetone
Yeah.
situation. Your
Yeah.
nails can take it, so can this asteroid. Okay.
Yes.
The big bada boom. You know it. I love my boom microscope so much. I seriously, I'm gonna make a box for it so that we can take it places because who knows when you need to like pull out the big guns and look at a fossil that you can't take out. Like maybe
For
it's still.
sure.
All right, and so we are going to get. Oh, that is as close as we get, and so we'll pan back out so that we can
Ooh,
have.
look at that big chondra. Is that the one we looked
That
at
was
first?
the one that we were looking
It looks
at.
so
Yeah.
big now it would come back out. Oh, and
Right.
there's several there with it up above it.
Right, right. There's a
Little
whole
faint
little
ones.
chondrule field. Hey, wrong way. Here, let's Karen. Karen's
There
trying to
was. There
oh,
was.
there it goes. Yeah, here we go. There. So all of those light little orbs, right? It's like a bokeh field of chondrules. Very, very nice. Little polka dots there. Um,
And you would, it's interesting because another rock that I'd sent you that's full of, I think they're crinoid fossils, looks really similar to this. Like, so when we're looking for things like chondrules in our meteorites, there are things in earth rocks that are very orbicular, that are very round and can kind of look like chondrules. So you got to start looking at other things when you're looking, like, again, you'd notice that there's like all of that material is so densely packed that there's like nothing in between. There's a couple of weathering cracks, on the side of the screen there, but otherwise there's no pits, no pores, no grains that you can pick out with your eye. It's yeah.
it's
So
nuts.
there's other things about meteorites that aren't like earth rocks. Like I say, there's things that look super similar when you're trying to do earth rock meteorite identification. There's stuff that is deceivingly similar, but that's the real McCoy there, even if it's not the nicest piece.
All right, and so you mentioned how we have a doppelganger here on Earth, and I'm going to go ahead and swap this out
Hmm.
really quick. Whoa, wrong way. Okay, so everybody gets to see the putty on the. Um,
It's okay.
there we go. And this is the one that you were talking about, right? That
Yes.
was the doppelganger. And I'm
Hmm.
trying to go the wrong direction. Oh my gosh, look at how fun that is. And so tell us a little bit about this one.
I think that's tiny crinoids. I'm almost positive that it is. And then some of those, if you get real close in, have little features, little X's and stars and things happening in the middles of them.
All right. And check this out. Haha. I often let people hold my 10-pound Campo del is it Cielo?
Hmm.
Meteorite, and some will be afraid of breaking it, so I tell them it fell from the sky, right?
Right.
Not a dainty little dancer in any way. And so here we are looking at this from afar. We're way out at 10x here, and you can see this is fairly compact, but there is some matrix of some kind in between, and that also looks to be very microcrystalline as well. So we have a lot
Mhm.
of silicification or something here. Now I'm going to go ahead and make this wet because we might get some reflection from that, but I think that we're also going to get like a better idea of, you were saying that there was some interesting patterning going on inside these little orb guys. And so let's have a look at that.
Mhm.
And did you say that you found this one?
Yep.
And so, not that we're like going to go to the spot, but whereabouts did you find it just so that we can kind of have an idea of the provenance? Wow, that is porous. Look at how.
How much it just sucked that rest. I keep saying that I really should know the date and age of my fossils.
Oh no, and she just left. She's like, I've had it. No more
I'm
questions.
sorry.
I'm just kidding. I gotta go. I just can't handle this anymore. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to bring the light down a little bit, so like that backfired just a bit as far as the reflection. So if we get rid of that light, whoa, going the other direction and bring exposure down, then we probably will get a picture here. But you got to try, and then sometimes
Yes.
it just doesn't work the way that you'd like. I think damp is actually going to be really nice because you look down in the corner there, and that area down at the bottom is looking really good. But you guys are seeing, like, look at the concentric circles going on in that really big one down there in the right hand bottom quadrant. You have a couple of these orbs that have some really intense circles there. What a pretty thing.
It is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm very intrigued. Okay, so I'm bringing that down a little bit just so that we can see, the contrast better without all of this light madness. And then I'll try to get that up there because that's pretty interesting. I want to see that big one. Come here. Come here. Close enough. There we go. Oh, you guys have no idea how weird that is trying to do. All right, and so we are going to zoom in and see what kind of detail we can see in that. How interesting. Who has seen stuff that is similar to what we're looking at right now? And yes, Meg, when I just opened this bad boy up when we were doing the live, um, I thought that it was Dino. And she's like, "Nope, that's not Dino." And so it totally threw me off too. It threw me right under the bus. I was like, "Wow, that is crazy cellular looking."
Yeah, again, you think, oh, look at all the, pore or the cells in there. And again, it's tricky, tricky, tricky. Imposter. Um, we
So
are in the, and does this make sense to anybody? We are in the, let's see. I just lost my page. Sorry, interrupted. Just say nothing.
sorry. So Eric is saying that it reminds him of Ulitic chert, which I have to admit it does have that kind of feel to it as well to me. I mean, look at these orbs are so flippin' perfect, and they do the oolite thing to a degree, and yet how much I like to say that word. I controlled myself. Oh my gosh, you guys. I have to get
The
control of
two
this.
medicine formation, does that
Yeah.
matter to anybody? What time period that is? Does anybody know?
I'll bet you somebody in there does. And if they don't, then they can always check the Googles for it. We're catching a little bit of reflection off of some ambient light, but we're getting into that orb pretty close now. And I'm wondering
That's
if
cool. Look at
yeah,
all
it is
the
cool.
concentric circles and weird things.
We got serious everlasting gobstopperness going on here. Okay, I'm just gonna do that, and then it's gonna come back, you guys. Don't worry. But we were getting some better action when it was just drying off from the
Hmm.
water, so that we can see the like all of the beautiful details in that. Here it comes. And wow, just that is insanely
That's
porous.
cool.
Yeah. And so it looks like, this variety also, like here's one with an orange center and black rings. And then you have like adjacent, there's like one with the black center, and then it's got like more of like the kind of matrix rings to it. this is some very, very interesting, almost looks like tie-dye kind of stuff. And we're not all the way in yet, I don't think. And so let's get closer.
They're yelling at us in the chat that it's got to be oolithic chert because crinoids only have a center and an outer ring.
Oh, okay.
It's interesting though that, like I say, some of those even have like a little star or an X pattern in them. That's
So
say more.
yeah. Okay, so we're gonna get in here close to this guy that has like the concentric rings, and so we're getting a good look, and we're almost into the point where we're starting to see the crystals of the matrix material. This is super duper fine, and so don't know if we're gonna get close enough. Yeah, actually, you can see some green there. Oh my gosh, this is so cool.
It is
I
so cool.
Right. Oh, who knew this was so good? Like when the closer that you get, I'm gonna try not to move because then I start bouncing the table next door. Now, one of the things that we're kind of seeing, and I don't know if it's the light play or not, but we're seeing kind of like the pitted center of one to the left, and that's who knows what that center was made out of, and then it's got dark black around it, and then the one to the left and bottom of that, below that one, because that's kind of on the top, we have a dark one that has some rings of the light material, and so this is somewhat perplexing as far as
It
like
is.
who are we looking at?
Or what if it is simply an oolithic limestone or an oolithic chert?
Okay, so this is the comment that you were referring to before, and I love saying it. You guys know it. It is one of those things. Okay, we have oolitic limestone and moolite. It's moolitic. Yeah, okay. And we have silica pseudomorph after hematite. Yeah, like we might be even having a theme here. Like, how many different ways can we look at a pseudomorph after hematite tonight? Because it could
True.
be, yeah. And we have, whoa, sorry, you guys. Whenever the chat shifts upward, sometimes I'll be clicking on something at the exact time and it'll slur into the next. And so sorry about that. Karen, after you wet a rock, if you pat it with a towel, it cuts down on the reflection. Yes. This one was porous enough that I figured it was just going to go ahead and beat us to me grabbing a towel. But thank you so much, Cynthia. I do have towels right nearby, and we'll use that hack for sure. Thank you. And good Lord, what? My mom told me that tapioca pudding was frog eggs. Okay, Kyle, that's he's a monster. That's great. Frog eggs. I don't know. I don't know if I could do it. But okay, so following your line of thought here, are you trying to suggest that we are looking at petrified frog eggs, or is this petrified tapioca? Which way are we going here? And we need to do an acid test. That sounds like fun. I bet you this thing would sizzle. What are you thinking?
If it's the
Especially,
limonite, it especially will.
yeah. If we've got some lime in there, then sizzle. That's another thing. You guys, thanks so much. I'm gonna review this live after we're done. I always do, and I will be taking notes on the gear that I need for testing. How cool, right? Like I should definitely have sizzleables right nearby so that we could all watch the bubbles happen. And then yeah. Um, like, this is just great. You believed her, but it still didn't stop you. But it tastes so good. That's awesome, Kyle. That's fantastic. Okay. And then we have more moms that like, did you mess with your kids' heads like this, Allison? My mom told me the same thing. Then I got to introduce her to bubble tea. Yeah. So whose eggs are we drinking when we're drinking the bobas? Yo, my gosh. Tapioca is paleo bubble tea. Yeah. Yeah, paleo bubble tea would not be a bad thing to market, I don't think. And did did I answer your question from earlier? Did I? Can you reform your question in another reminder here? Because I'm sorry, I like I said before, I definitely need braining wheels tonight. And probably every day, but particularly right now. And we have petrified onion as a possibility. This is just this is like the Kyle extra that we didn't get during his life. My mom also told me that radio towers were witch towers and they would punish bad kids and feed them to cows, but putting or probably by putting them in the feeding cow things in the field by turning them into frogs. Oh my gosh. Your mom. And look at how well you turned out. Maybe we're all doing it wrong. That's great. Yeah, Lady Diane. Got some cruel mamas up in here. I am telling you what. And we've got I heard somebody is getting a new hardness test kit. Okay, like yeah, a hardness test kit would be good and also our acid tests for sure. And so here we go. Just buying time. I was wondering if you know anyone who can make a bezel. Oh, for your fire obsidian cap. You know what? I know lots of people that can make cool bezels. And if you want to go to our Discord, you might ask the question in silversmithing and then you can kind of shop who says hey, because there are quite a few of us that do some silversmithing in there, and I think it would be great for you also to kind of see the variation on styles, because that's going to be a thing. Like, do you want a simple thing or do you want stuff that has embellishments to it, and so on and so forth. And so, hopefully that's a good answer. I'm not trying to like, hey, and go someplace else, but like, the Discord is a great place to shop, because you can also, like I said, kind of either go back in time and see what people have already posted, or they can post you examples, which we can't look at any pictures here. Other than this gorgeous orbicular crinoidal thing.
Goodness stuff.
All this goodness, and thank you, Ken, for popping up the Discord like a boss. Thank you so much. And we've got all the goods. Okay. And also Melissa took care of that as well. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. And so okay, let's cruise around here just a little bit so that we can see oh, a little bit closer first. Okay, there we go. And that is, I mean, what's interesting about these orbs or noids or whatever they are is that that is super part of this material. Like everything is very, very infused. Sometimes when you see kind of just like your meteorites, like sometimes when you're looking at fossils, things are not so constituent oriented and glommed together so flippin' tightly. And that's one of the things that I love about the older fossils that I believe you have in your record, Allison, is that they have the tendency to be super, super duper baked, as I've heard you
Yes,
say.
well cooked.
So baked and such fine quality as far as like either their petrification or mineralization goes. You just
Mhm.
have to be kind of in awe as far as that's concerned. Look at all the different variations we have, and we're kind of looking at the star situation that you were talking about before up in that these two guys, right? Whoa, I moved too fast. We're under a lot of magnification, so I just have to move it just a little bit. So to the right of the square, you guys, these are the stars, right?
I see a few there, yeah.
Yeah. And so, and we're seeing some like crazy tiger stripy concentric circles there down towards the corner too. That's just
Mhm.
amazing. This is amazing stuff. And see, you guys were probably going, okay, on to the next thing. But I swear, this is my life, but I'm spending like hours on this one piece. I am super bad at like, okay, well, we looked at this one and on to the next thing. I'm super bad. Now, one of the things that I was wondering about as far as this is concerned, and you guys, I did not locate the UV uh my UV light, which I'm still sort of looking around because it's probably within reach. I just can't see it. But would you imagine that this was UV-able?
I don't think that one did a whole lot. If I remember right, that one didn't do a lot.
Oh, good. We're not missing on anything
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
That's good. Okay, so one last eyeful of that. That is amazing stuff. And so I did find the dog poop also. So let's go ahead and we'll cruise over to the dog poop here really quick. And where is it that you like to acquire your poop and your better specimens from, if anybody's wondering that, Allison?
I do a lot of Topher Spin. He's got affordable stuff. I've done John and Ashley Humphreys. I've done Chris Monk, Jules, Space Jules. Any of the Topher Spin crew that are selling are good to buy from. There are different styles of sellers. Some sellers like to sell stuff that's definitely out of my budget, and others sell, obtainable small pieces that I can afford. So, not every seller is for every buyer, but those are some that I prefer to shop from.
That's awesome. And I can't agree with you more as far as like sometimes when you just really appreciate a certain seller and yet it's totally unobtainium
Yep.
for you.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So I hear you and appreciate that endorsement, because I think another thing is that some folks like myself, like I bought the onlyest meteorite that I have from Tucson Gem Show because I knew that that was a reputable dealer. And
Hmm.
it's not like you want to trust somebody to be selling you something again like that's more like these chondrite looking pieces, because it could be anything, right? Like they
Hmm.
could tell you, and what do you say, it's a meteor wrong?
Yes. Yes.
So what are we looking at here other than this was from the doggy bag?
Yeah. 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 This one's got quite a bit more visible metal, but less visible chondrules. And that's kind of the toss when you're talking about a chondrite meteorite. They all have some amount of metal in them and some amount of chondrules. And the balance between the two is, again, a type, a way to sort the types. When you get a lot of metal in your chondrite meteorites, you oftentimes have less chondrules. When you have a lot of chondrules in your meteorites, you often have less metal. If you can get that fine line right between the two where they're a beautiful balance between metal and chondrites, that's when things are like, yeah, that's my bang zone there. Or, one that's highly one or the other is also kind of neat to look at. But this has got a lot of metal, and I do still see a chondrite or two in there. So,
All right. So you guys are seeing reflection. I didn't make this guy wet. So one of the interesting things that I'm finding about having seen the back-to-back meteorites is that the other one had a lot more limonite or the corrosion happening, whereas this one has some fresh metallics.
mhm.
Do you think that this is because this one's been freshly cut?
No, it's a weathering issue. Because
Okay.
I honestly think I only cut them maybe just months apart from each other, but one laid out in worse, wetter, more nasty terrestrial environment than the other one did. They're probably both from Northwest Africa because it's easier to find meteorites in like Antarctica or Northwest Africa because it's basically a flat surface. There's no trees, there's nothing in the way. It is sand, and of course you've got to kind of mosey around through dunes and sand to find them. But when they do actually land, they're much easier to find than if this were, Montana, where there's other rocks and there's trees and mountains and things. So they don't fall more often in Northwest Africa. They're just found more often in Northwest Africa because they are easier to find there.
That
So
is such an awesome point. Because you do have to wonder, like, okay, so why do all the meteorites fall in Arizona?
yes, yes,
They
they're
don't.
easier to find there, and there's more people looking for them there.
Got
So
it. Got it.
same thing with our dino bone lady that I just interviewed. She said, first of all, you've got to know what time to look, what times in your rocks to look. And then she said, furthermore, if it's all covered in grass, you're never going to know what's underneath of it anyway. So you want to find those outcrops, those washes, those, places of erosion. Those are where you're going to find your dino bones. Otherwise, they may be there, but you'll never know. So it's the same thing out here. Our meteorites are here. They're just so hard to find.
That's so fascinating. And like, how hard pressed would we be to finding a meteorite that fell here uh on this side of Oregon? Like we have rainforests, not gonna happen. There could
That
be
and
like
it's
a
a really wet environment, which is
yeah.
again not good for their preservation.
Right, whereas, out there in Eastern Oregon, I guess you'd be hedging your bets, and so have you found one, Allison?
Not yet.
Oh, you will.
Not
You
yet.
will.
Yeah,
Anybody
hopefully.
wanna anybody in the chat wanna place their bets on how long or soon it's going to be for Allison to be finding her meteorite? This is gonna happen. So I would love to know if anybody is feeling psychic. And we've been slowly panning in on our guy here, and I mean I'm so enthralled with how fresh the metallics are. That is so crazy. And so, are we looking? Do you think that we're looking at iron-based metallics, or do we even know?
Yeah, yeah. They're nickel, iron, camosite, tianite. Oh, I'm not sure I pronounced that last one right, but that's the amalgam of metals that's in there, and that's why when we etch those metals, we get a Widman-Staten pattern. There's not enough metal in this ordinary chondrite to get that kind of pattern because they're just little blobs of metal. But they are probably an amalgam of those metals.
Nice. And something's going on here that I have to address really quick. We have kids that are watching, and if you guys are into it, then you are awesome, and we want to give you credit. And so I want to go out of my way to say hi to Diane's grandkids. Thank you so much for watching and being into rocks. Rocks rock. And
Yeah.
you can only uh, get better from watching these kinds of things and enjoying what incredibly mind-blowing things that nature provides for us to look at. And so hopefully we're putting on a meteoric enough show for you that this is interesting. And so wow, I'm thumping on everything here. I thought it would be cool to move around this stone just a little bit so that we can see some of the other stuff. And so there and like you were saying, much more metallic, much less of the chondrite stuff going on.
Hmm.
We are definitely seeing that. And yet I just absolutely love that the pretty metallics. And so do people make jewelry out of this stuff ever?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. That's tempting because it would look so good with silver. And you have
Yes.
to wonder how quickly this stuff, like, just like Manny's question, would you be treating it fairly often with something so that you don't have everybody oxidizing quickly? Gotta wonder.
Yes. Yes. You would want to. Otherwise, be very careful not to wear it in the shower. Even your body oils and stuff are eventually going to affect it. But, in your lifetime, you could probably, if you kept it on the drier side, wear it, you know, for a considerable amount of time before you noticed it deteriorating. Unless you coated it in some, paleo bond or something, which would keep it in better shape.
Right, right.
But yeah, you definitely can. Your only issue you're running into is sometimes they're not very hard. This
Um,
one in particular looks like it might be, but if they're cracked, weather cracked like that first one, you'd want to avoid that if you were going to cab it, is about it. Otherwise, I've made lots of meteorite jewelry out of ordinary chondrites.
ooh, okay. And I'm seeing in the chat, cabot, cabot. Okay, you guys, we're going to perform an experiment. You were here. It's going to happen. And also, Diane says that these grandchildren's children are Charles and Dill. So, hello, Charles and Dill. Thank you so much for
Hello.
watching. We love everybody getting into this thing. I was just what? I mean, we were always rock hounds in my family, but I got serious at like 7. So I think all of us can attest to like, yeah, getting a good early start so that you
Mhm.
don't have to wish you were into it earlier is a really cool thing. And being like a science nerd is a cool thing too. Don't let anybody tell you different.
It is a really cool thing, especially right now, because the space race is a real thing. And if you want to know about meteorites and especially things like Martian or lunar, solar soils, you're going to want to get familiar with Earth geology first. And so you should get an early start. The earlier start you get, the better an understanding you're going to have about it. And that's the kind of stuff that's going to change our world. Is some rockhound getting familiar with Mars solar or Mars soils so that we can terraform Mars or some other planet someday. I mean, we've almost got to, right, in order to to keep moving forward. So rocks are really cool in a lot of different ways, and you can make a living out of rocks in a lot of different really cool ways.
That's awesome. I love how beautifully put that was. This PSA was brought to you by Prairie Girl Rocks and all of us science lovers everywhere. So
and
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 and space too.
and not just in moving out too, but what's coming in. We need to know about space rocks and rocks in particular because there may be an asteroid strike, and how do we defend ourselves? We need to be rock smart. It's important.
Word. Wise
Word.
words here. Like wise words like before the end. I love it. You know we're off to a good show and we've got wise so early in the evening. And so I like this. That sounds like a threat. Dave is gonna have to get one of your necklaces, Allison. Yay! Dave, watch the lives on Wednesday mornings, 11 o'clock Pacific time, and 12 o'clock for those of you in the what is that mountain or is that
Yes.
central? Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Um, I know my country. And you get to see some of this stuff because that is another point actually that I didn't bring up before, but you do live sales as well. And so do we have anything like that coming up anytime soon, Allison?
Oh, I wanted to do a pop-up sale just the other day with the kids, but I never did get around to it because life is crazy and sometimes I'm not coming home until the sun's coming up. But yes, sometimes they do, and hopefully we will in the future too. So
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for the reminder, Dave. Because her lives are always super fun. I mean, it's a great eye candy for those of us that are shopping or not shopping. You know, it's just always a good time. Just like how Kyle's are fun to watch, even if you're not shopping, and then you might end up buying something by accident anyway. And so what we've got over on the microscope now is the very fine grained stuff that you were wondering about before.
is it a stud or is it a dud? It's kind of hard to tell.
So this is actually, let me do this really quick and then we'll put it back on. And I'm gonna try to not make you guys all nauseous doing it either. So let's do this. And I'm gonna do this, and then we'll do this. And this is the piece that we're about to look at. And so it's a little guy, but we were wondering about, see if I can't dust it off a little bit. We were wondering about, is it just a quote unquote sandstone or is there something special about this guy? And already I'm tempted to believe that there is something. Oh, there's that beautiful putty that actually holds my. You guys are probably wondering why does Karen have a a bunch of putty on her ball vise, and that is for holding projects when I'm setting stones and that sort of thing. And so it's like having a bunch of little fingers holding onto your project when you're trying to set a bezel or something like that. So hopefully now you don't think I'm as weird. And we can probably get light on this subject a little bit better. I have the exposure way down. So as we're dealing with all these technical difficulties, where did we get this specimen, Allison, before we go any further?
Again, locally collected.
Okay. And so it looks like we've got these kind of orbs. We're all the way out, so that was 10x. And as we get in closer, you guys can tell me what your observations are. Um, Although to me, it looks like pudding stone, some very very well baked sand. Eh? What are you guys thinking? And uh we've got a lovely leg, and so it's going to take a second, but what do you think, Allison, now that you're getting a closer look?
It still looks like sand grains to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's very pretty. I mean, it's a lovely color of salmon for sandstone, and look at how baked that is. I mean, that is some very old, hard compacted sandstone. A lot of the sandstone that we come into contact with more often is rotten, like it's very young, and it's looser, and it's porous, and it's falling apart, like more rotten rock. And this is some very high grade sandstone, I would say.
Right,
Some
because
nice
like
stuff.
we have some sandstone formations up here that are like, that classic beige or tan kind of color. But even when you look at that, you don't see the actual grains like you do in this particular sample, which is why this was so fascinating to me.
Yeah, it's way more like pudding stone, you know
Hmm.
like an example of a conglomerate that had some very nicely larger sized grains integrated in material that was very silty or fine grain, uh, as it were, or it got washed in a silicification. Not sure how this guy got set up, but that it feels like it's got a fairly high content of silicate to it. Um, so maybe it was hanging out near a mineral bath, some hydrothermal stuff.
And that's
And
very possible.
yeah, in your neck of the woods.
Yes, yes.
Faux show. Yeah, it's really pretty. And I almost want to make it wet, but we know what happens. Well, let's go ahead and try it, and we'll deal with a little reflection for a bit.
Oh, Bear just said it looks like one of those blood smears on the microscope slide. It kind of does, Bear. It
Oh, it
does look
does.
like cells. It does look like blood cells.
And look what happened. We have like some really neat halos around the grains. How cool is that?
It
Like
kind
they
of
they
is. That's weird.
they all of a sudden turned into like kind of more of an orbicular thing.
Yeah, yeah.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. So this
Somebody
got a
else had
lot better.
asked, Diane asked if you could cab this or if it was too soft, or at least I think she's talking about this
It's
material.
hella hard. I'm sorry, you can
I
answer
don't
that
know.
too,
I don't know if it was
Allison.
polished
Oh,
or
okay, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I've never tried.
I would say this is cappable. In fact, Diane, I can do that. I can do some of it. I mean, look at you remember how quickly the other specimen soaked up all of the water that
Hmm.
I put, and you see this water is standing on top of this. This is how baked or silicified this is. I'm not sure if it's because it's so baked. We're getting into, just quartzite sandstony stuff here,
Hmm.
except for I'm super enthralled with the cellular structure that we're seeing now that we got it wet. I'm so glad I gave it a little bath, and I'm sorry about the glare towards the bottom there. I almost don't want to move it just because we're seeing so much towards the top, and you see like every grain has a halo. So what happened? How did this be born? I missed my calling, you guys. I really should have gotten into geology. Now this is like I'm talking to the kids. Like I was into rock hounding and making jewelry and all that kind of stuff when I was young, but I didn't do the geology thing. So if you're into it now, maybe you look in that direction so you can't look back like me and go like, oh, I wish I had studied geology. It would be good to even go back now, but it is awesome. I think it is. I'm glad that you guys are digging that in the chat. And I mean, it's showing off its color too. It really is this pink, you guys. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous color of this salmon pink. It's very nice. Um, let's see. Oh my gosh. The Kid Curry. I don't know if I said hi to you when you were here earlier. I did see you, and we're getting the pimple popper vibes. Yeah, it is very organic feeling, just like how Rocky said. It's got an organic feeling to it for sure. That's we were talking about how meaty some of the cabs on Kyle's lives were earlier today too, like salami. Some people were thinking of sashimi. For sure. And it's beautiful. I like this. At the end of the day, we've got a beautiful piece of sandstone or whatever this is. And I'm wondering if we do have any other votes as far as what this could be.
Okay, goober.
Thought that was just my cataract halos.
I got a kick out of that one too, yeah.
Yeah, oftentimes when it's very late and I'm looking through the microscope, I'll turn it on to the computer so that I can tell if it's my eyes that are seeing something or if it really is, because the picture on the computer is like TV set sized, whereas when I'm looking on the microscope itself through the eyepieces, and the sun is setting on our piece, like we're finally now having a little bit of absorption and the water's going away, but that was a long time, you guys.
Yes, it
That was
was.
that was impressive. That's telling us a lot about that specimen. I love it. It's a mystery piece. We'll go ahead and cab this thing up too. I'm a crazy cabber right now, so I'll toss that on the thing, and we'll find out what thing we might be looking at. And yeah, we got the wagyu meat. And Ken says orbicular spammerite. Spam, 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 spam. Yes, I agree. We had to sing yet another song. Although, Allison, are you ready to sing your song at the end of our deal tonight? Because I'm okay. Good. Is it in the key of C? I could even back you up on
I
my
have
new.
no idea. I just pick a note and go.
So you picks a note and go. Better than picking your nose.
Yep.
All right. And we had this guy that I could not wait to share. And so I'm going to hold this up. It's this one. Let's get some guesses on what in the actual world is this. And so this is going underneath the microscope next. And I put it down just right. So let's do this. Look, there's our eyeball right now.
Yeah.
That was what was just shining up at us. And so I'm panning out so that you guys can kind of get an idea of what this thing looks like. And it's definitely Noid. Like look at those
Yes.
3 sections up towards the top. My arrow is like going to it, and I'm now circling it with my cursor. Like this is so weird. Oh my gosh, Mysticata, this is so weird. Because here we have the O's from the crinoids, right? And here's some more crinoid, like the side view of, the like spinal column or however you want to put it. That's what it always reminds me of. They're so skeletal.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see how small these get, and so I can't wait to look at this closer. But as we're out here, you saw when I was holding it up how shiny it was. Ho Are we thinking that it was replaced by feldspar? And if so, how in the world did that happen? Does anybody, like I'm asking way more questions on this live stream than
Yes.
maybe
But
I
welcome to
should.
my world, Karen.
But these are so fascinating, and, my only guess would be that, there was room for the crystals to grow in trace fossils, and since these are super duper extra double old, there might have been the opportunity for, that heat and all to grow those crystals. Does anybody
Ah, sorry
Mm,
to interrupt. Yes, we just had the aha moment. Canadian Gemstone says not feldspar, but calcite. Soft but will polish nicely. And that would explain why they phosphoresce.
okay, and here we are. Dun, dun, dun. And yeah, so we did want the UV for this one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wah, wah. She's still looking around. I know it's somewhere super close. I'm gonna find it like rolled underneath like, one of the like my computer stand or something like that. If I if Allison starts talking and you see my head disappear, you know what's going on. But so that is an aha moment. And so we will get closer so that we can kind of look at this. And that makes all the sense in the world as far as replacement goes, because we know
Mm-hmm.
how often calcite loves to form in the fossil vugs left behind by our fun little friends. So I'm just moving it around a little bit so that you guys can kind of see the size variety. I mean, that was a lot of different kinds of seagrass, eh? Like that we have so much like really big Fruit Loops here, and then like teeny weeny ones too. So there we
Mm-hmm.
go. Another closer look. And that one, had like some kind of fissure happen to it. That one's got like an eyeball inside.
Hmm.
Look at that. It grew another something or other going on right in the middle. It's like Meep's eyeball. Let's get all the way in there and have a look at some of the more crystally stuff here. And you can see how crystalline, look at the surrounding matrix. Look at
Mm-hmm.
how crystalline that is. It's catching the reflection and showing you the geometry that none of the matrix materials so far this evening has shown you. Like as we pan in, it's been like super kind of microgranal. Is that a word? It is
Yes,
now.
it is pretty microgranal. Fractal granal. I don't know. Yeah, there's words that I just wish I would have seen the word.
We're being Shakespeare here. We're just going to go ahead and make those words up as we go along. But yeah, I mean, that is so frosty. It's not even funny. That's like all crystal. And so of course there's something that is turning some of this the dark color, but you can see as we get up close that that is also in a pretty crystally formation lattice wise. And so we'll just take a little tour around here and see some of the different guys that we have going on. So that's some of it, catching the direct reflection. And then we have this like tiny little bud over here to the side, this little eyeball. And we'll just kind of keep on cruising along. There's that guy looking surprised. But yeah, I mean, look at how perfect that crystal structure is, like that the little exclamation point, square at the bottom of that O.
I love
Like,
that.
yeah, you have to totally love how perfect, the symmetry is in nature, straight lines in nature. Ha, of course there are. Look at that. Anybody who wants to tell you that there aren't any, like, okay, well, we're not looking at, crystal structure being a straight line is, I don't know how much more straight you can get. We had some little babies over here that I wanted to come over and see. I'm almost wondering if I dare get this wet. Last time it actually did us a solid seeing all that stuff. And so sometimes it makes it better, sometimes it makes it worse. And we are all part of an experiment here. Well, if I have a chance to prepare stuff for the microzone, then you can kind of put on a slicker show. But we are like flying by the seat of our pants, and I kind of like that more than slick. And so we're gonna make it wet, and if it, we'll talk amongst ourselves if it makes it worse. So Do it. Yeah, that's pleasant, actually. So now we're seeing some of the dust swirl on the top. That is not little guys like swimming inside our fossil stone here, but you can see how kind of mathy. Oh, and that is like drying off pretty quick too. But you can see how mathy that the lattice of that crystal structure is. That is pretty darn cool. And so that is as close as we get. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and make it wet one more time, and I'm sorry about how much dust was floating around there in that, but just so that you can kind of get another look, and I'll see if I can't get that in better focus because that was flippin' cool. I love the actual kind of ladder structure you can almost see. It looks like angel wing ladders, and so now that I've said that, keep an eye out for those. Okay. And that is not the right direction.
That's
There we go.
beautiful.
Yeah, isn't that neat? And you can see like that's just super mathy, especially up there on the left quadrant. And the LED is not doing that any good because you're seeing so much of that reflection. But one cool thing is that if I did a polish on that polish job on this stone, then we would be able to see that without having to deal with the reflection so much. We could just peer into that lattice structure, and that's going to happen. And I'll go ahead and slice this bad boy again because if we want to look at how fat this is, thank you for making that this big because I can go ahead and cut this in half, and then we'll fit this underneath the higher magnification magnoscope. It's the magnoscope.
On the MICROZONE.
Yeah, the magnoscope on the microzone. Oh my gosh. So yeah, we'll have an even closer look at how beautiful those guys are. Angel wing ladders. Yeah, that's what I said. Isn't that normal? Um and we let's see, cab it. Everything gets cabbed, right? At least shined up. So we'll be doing that. And so what else do we absolutely need to look at? We've got um oh, that was the fossils phosphorus one. So we should probably do that when we have that. Let's You gave me this guy. Should we look at that one?
Yeah.
Since yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
polished. That
I
one
think that's got a little bit different stuff in it. So yeah.
okay. Because one of the coolest things about the polished ones, like I said, is that you get a nicer look at the slice. And oftentimes, like if there's the foraminifera to see, then that's when you're going to see it best when it's sliced up. Because if it's granular, sometimes we're looking at the shells of the foraminifera and you can't tell. It just looks like another pebble. But when they get sliced open, they look like little nautiluses or little pine cones. I mean,
Okay. See now, and I have seen some stuff like that, but bigger, and I'm almost sure that they are. But you said you maybe found some forums. Show me the forums. Show me the forums.
yeah, I definitely those are like the forums that I found in the fossil material was um that were visible would be better on the mega microzone. So we'll do that, but we might even see some now in this specimen because I did not look at this one. So
Okay,
I'm
cool.
just gonna get this
And then what's his
centered.
name with the show me the money? I feel like that. Show me the forums.
Tom Cruise.
Yes.
You were here, everyone, when Allison had Tom Cruise moments. And so, another thing, as far as the microscopy goes, is you can see, like, if you get your tilt right, then you get to see the smooth surface without having the reflection, and that's not something that is as easily done with the water because the water has to sit on top of the specimen. And so anyways, we do definitely already see some crinoids in here. And as we get closer, you can see that they even get better. There's like, it looks like over here, can you guys see my cursor? Like dancing around, that looks like bryozoa, I'm
Yes, it
thinking.
does, kind of, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then over here, we have serrations that look a whole lot like small, bivalve-ish to me, and let's get closer. This is so compact. That is one of the things that I absolutely love about your death material is that it's just so saturated with little fun guys in there. And, yeah, I'd be shocked if this didn't have, forums in it as well. It would just be hard maybe to parse because this is a yard sale. This is a yard sale of death, you guys, and doom and
Definitely.
destruction. Um, and so we have, strawberry seeds, right, right. That was our, bryozoa, right? Definitely need very much like the strawberries. And we have, Karen, you need to make those into jigsaw puzzles with the MicroZone logo. Can you imagine a death plate jigsaw? Like that would take you so long. People would both love and hate you. Not a bad way to, I mean, how cool though to have the photography. I would love to do that puzzle. I would probably tarry too long on a puzzle like that. I'd just be into like, certain little guys and trying to put them together so that you could do the paleontology on them. All right, that's how much of a geek I am. So I'm trying to get in on that O over there. That's interesting. This guy here, that's that's a neat little O. And I mean, that might even be too small to be, it could be crinoid or that could be some forum because there's a lot of donut forums. Like there's a gazillion of them. They start off as a single cell. And so the sphere forums are like the largest class. And then you get the fancy ones that have, that look like little, baculites or ammonites and stuff like that. Like how did those get formed? Like the bigger versions, like, it's some pretty neat uh kind of a window into what the different creatures that we get in the macro zone are. And now like we are like zoomed in on kind of nothing. And so I'm gonna move
Yeah.
around and
It's wild
find.
to me too that like this is some of it's almost agatized, some of it is like chalcedony, but it's definitely microcrystalline and it is a darn hard material. Like chert might be a good description for that word, but like to me, again, I'm going to use that word. It is so well baked.
Yeah.
It is just like candy now.
Yeah, this is super duper hard. And so we're seeing like my favorite thing when we are uh, able to look at a specimen that has been sliced or well polished like this is that you're seeing, are you guys seeing the cursor move around like this, sort of oblong guy here? So that probably is a forum. This guy down here, we see like little chambers. Oftentimes the forums have like little chambers, and so that looks like an 8, kind of. Are you seeing the cursor kind of around that? A lot of times the forums look like it looks like there's one right down here too. They oftentimes will look like turritella shells, like these tiny, tiny little turritellas. Um, and so let's go. Of course, now that we have a little bit of terrain, as I'm moving the focus field, we're moving towards the focus towards the top now of our
Hmm.
picture, and we have some really weird forms through there. This is the type of thing where it's fun to play with dye so that you can dye the object and it'll bring out the contrast of some of these forms. So raise your hand if you'd like to see this dyed and magnified, because
Yeah.
yeah, we could we could see so much more of like the intricate, like that looks like, two little chambers of something. So that might be, like a partial, because this is a yard sale, we have to also think like, yeah, a lot of this stuff is going to be broken up.
Hmm.
Like it was maybe a nice, long turtle. There's one.
There's a
There's one.
turtilla. Yeah, I could
Yeah.
see him with my eye.
Yeah.
So I
Isn't that
wondered when you were
pretty
like,
cool?
when you were saying some of the forums look like little tiny turtillas. I'm like, well, how tiny? Because I can see some in my fossils. So,
So this probably is a foraminifera, and you can, like, there are some of them that are big enough that you can, pick it up very, very gently with your fingers. Like, I think that it was Morning Man Lambo that was finding some that, were fairly large in forum, world, like maybe a few millimeters long, which is feeling like this is what this size guy is. Trying to see. Um, let me find a little pointer, um, so that we can kind of get a size reference. This is an engraver that I'm using, and let me see if I can't get that in here. So where is it? This is harder than it looks, you guys. Okay, and so here's my engraver, and it's like moving in the opposite direction than I want. Let's do this again. Okay, so you guys can see my engraver in the picture, and it's pointing to right now, like to like a little opening, which is probably an opening in another forum. Looks like a little like vacuum, bag or something. This is totally probably a forum.
that's
And
wild.
isn't that so wild? I'm going to take that away just a second here, and uh, this is the point. This is my finger. That's the point. Okay, and you saw how large that is. And so I would say my point here of this engraver is maybe, 2 millimeters. And so that little vacuum is so flippin' small. And yeah, again, like our little forum there is maybe 2 millimeters long, maybe more like one, because this thing looks so freaking big next to it. Let's see if I can get that in there one more time. See, like this
Yeah.
is a monster in comparison to our little shell here. So there it is, though. How elegant is that? That it's just in its full form there, just hanging out there on the surface. I don't know, you guys. Is anybody else is like excited about that? Okay, John raised his hand for that. Dave Lou says yes. Lava Basin, hands up. Excellent, you guys. Diane and Lisa and Kid, everybody, me too's that. Excellent. Lady Diane says silly question.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. And so what kind of dye would I use? I'd use like the microscopy dye, Manny. That's a great, great question. And I think that actually anything that has a very, very small particle size for a dye would work. And so you might even be able to use like just regular ink, because typically it's like a kind of a mineral ink. And so I'm trying to think off the top of my head what the names are. Ken might even know off the top of his head, since he loves to shop science stores too. But yeah, you can buy these kits from your microscopy dealer, like the place. I love Amscope myself for the microscope stuff. And they have dye kits where you if you want blue or red or black, you get your different dyes, and for different things different dyes work better. And so one of the things about agate is that it accepts dye very nicely. And so when you're doing, say, thin sections on petrified wood and that sort of thing, you can get just the most, their art, like, I can't paint as nice as what some of these things made of stone just die up like. So that actually might have to be like a whole art thing in and of itself. And Schnozlet. Dude, we have such the best lexicon going. Is that Schnozlet part of something larger? Rocky, it does look to be that Schnozlet is attached. So it starts here. If anybody's wondering what the heck we're talking about, we've got this O, and that is it looks like it is the intake or outtake of this whole thing that like kind of continues back here. And that is not mineral looking. That looks to me like it's organic. And so we're looking at a fossil of some kind that has a schnozzlet. And if it's a new thing, then perhaps we get to name it. And maybe Rocky just did. So, oh my gosh, John. You can bring your hand down now unless you want to check out the platelets in your poor pale fingers. Thank you so much for the $2 though. That goes to more dyes for the microscopy, more for me to spend over there on Amscope's site. They have a lot of my money already. I should, I should be buying stock at Amscope. But yeah, okay, so that is amazing. I think that we should probably move this a bit more and then see if wouldn't that be insane if we had like a whole thing attached to this schnozzlet? I'm wondering like whose intestines we're looking at or whatever. But
Whose snooze is that?
yeah, this is schnoz on the schnozzles. We're totally into Dr. Seuss land now.
But that's exactly what it always reminds me of. Those strange, unidentifiable little things we're seeing under the microscope do kind of have a Dr. Seuss feel.
Oh, it's even better than anything that Seuss could have dreamt up.
Mm-hmm.
It's so wild and unusual, and what a treat for our eyes. And it's what's going on here all of the time. Like we've got this, you know, we both have the fossil record, and then of course we have the live things that are super interesting. We're getting into a whole nother weird zone over here with some also interesting circles. And so we kind of moved out of the forum zone and we're into maybe some coral or crinoid again. What do you think?
Yeah, they look like crinoids to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
But
is
I've
super
been
cool.
wrong before. Could be wrong again.
Yeah, like that's
Definitely looking less schnoozly though.
yeah. Less schnozzles on the oozoids. Oh, look at the cool kind of, I don't know, structure that we have on that guy. We're looking at a cross section probably of, maybe again some coral or something like that there. But yeah, it's good science to be wrong, because like it's not anything until somebody has a good theory, and then we do science and we find out whether that's right or wrong, but somebody's got to, take a stab at it. Yeah, there's more of that kind of intricate lacy stuff right here, possibly belonging to the same body, but we have a mashup, and that looks corally to me. And anybody like if that was lit up with some dye, then we'd probably have a really good idea as to what we were looking at. Wouldn't that be cool if like that was an arm and this is an arm and we're looking at an echinoid of some kind? Because we do have a center right here. It would be neat if we had an echinoid, like a starfish or something like that. Um, Thank goodness, says John. Yes, you can put your hand down now. You might want to ice that shoulder. You're all full of good ideas. Thank you so much. And Bryozoan above too. Yeah. Yeah, that's very, very possible for that lattice or thing that we were looking at up there. Is that a cavity or a filling? Who knows? I know, but we like when we first panned in on this guy, like let me pan out here. Um yeah, that could be a cavity. This whole thing does look like a tooth. Like somebody's really bad tooth though. Look at the rind, how colorful. And that's what you would be kind of doing. This slice that we have that's polished, um, seems to bring everybody back to a similar color. Whereas on the rind, you can see we have a lot of variety there, and that's the kind of contrast that really helps if we're trying to parse different things. Okay, so Allison, is there another thing that we should put underneath? I mean, there are so many, but I fear of going too long because again, we're we're burning up the minutes here. What do you think I should put under here? What's next?
Yeah, that's, I mean, most fascinating there was what you got, I think.
All
We'll
right.
have to check your sapphires close later and
Oh,
see. Did I send one with a little faint star in it? But you could check that on your own time.
wait. No, I did want to like I promised that there would be crystals and sapphires in the or in the description. So
Fossils,
I gotta
meteor.
make
No. Oh,
I
it
gotta
does
make
say
good.
gems. It does
Yep,
say gems. Okay,
yep.
we better hit the gem shop.
Gotta do that.
I'll be right back. I need more tea.
Yeah, get more tea. Anybody else that needs like a popsicle or something like that, make sure.
Because if these gems are going to make me drool any more than those fossils, just I'm mixing hydration.
Well, one of the things that I wanted to do also was turn off my phone here before it overheats, and then add a dye number 5. A dot number 5. All right. And sapphires, yeah, woohoo. And you know what, Kid Curry? We did want to use the UV, but somebody could not find hers. And so I am so sorry for being that guy that could not find. We have one of the big sapphires here that was from Allison's, I think she said uncle's old mining efforts. And so we're going to stick that on here and have a look at that really quick. But Kid Curry, I promise you, and Lisa too, on account that she's the one that was so nice of her to get me the UV light, and it's supposed to always be ready. And yeah, I lost it, and so we will, when we do the mega microzone with more magnification power and so much goodness, we'll go ahead and have that UV, because I think one of the most fun things to do, if you guys are kind of like me, I love looking at the specimen and then kind of seeing it in its not so magnified form, and then getting closer and closer and closer and zooming in and zooming in. And so that's one of the things that we can indulge in with the other microscope, is we can have a look at it, with the strongest that we have here, and then we can go into like more like 100, 250, and you'd be just amazed at what, like that beautiful shell that we were just looking at, what that's going to look like at 100, and the schnoz. You guys, we got to see the schnoz at
Yes.
100 so that we can figure out what the blazes that thing is, right?
Yes.
And so here we have the belly button of the baboon, or whatever we decided that thing was the last time. And here's this sapphire. And so isn't this crazy? Actually, what would be really cool is I'm going to redo. That's very nice. This is what a sapphire looks like under magnification. A bit of an ugly duckling, if I have to say so myself. But we're going to make it even more interesting by adding let there be light. So let's backlight this bad boy and see what we can see with that. And all right. Sorry, taking me a second to get this great idea situated, as all great ideas should be. All right, bring this bad
And
boy up.
drum roll.
And it's a total anticlimax.
Ta-da!
What? All right, that changed the height, and that's surprisingly not very bright for the density on this here sapphire. That's gonna be, oh, here we go. We
Oh.
just needed some whoa, exposure. And of course it slipped off because it's not being held on by anything. Whoa, yep, try it again. We just need to get that gray out of there, and then it's gonna go ahead and catch up with it. There we go. All right, so here is a sapphire. And what I love about this illumination, and this is another reason why you have a magnification tool like this big bad boom, is that we are seeing how facetable this is and what kind of inclusions are inside and what color this really is, because you saw me hold it up and it almost looked like a dark teal. And look at what color we have here. There's a lot of sort of rind on the outside and some yellowy inclusion kind of stuff that would be darkening the whole thing. I'm not entirely sure what's going on down here, if all that needs to be ground away. What's this guy here? And what's that guy there? That looks like an inclusion that is a mineral, because look at how square that is. And we don't have to wait that long to look at it. I'm going to try to make sure that this is battened down before I let go. Okay, if we lose it, it's because the putty let go. Okay, so don't panic if all of a sudden we all go blind. Let's zoom in on this gorgeous sapphire. And I think I can just move this to help that out. I don't want to move it at all because it's going to fall down. I'll try to frame that better, but here we go. That that shadow looks like it's probably on the outside, and so that's just grindable, and we're going to have a bunch of like what looks like swimming pool teal on the inside of this sapphire, and it's going to be flipping gorgeous. And it's a big one, so it's probably going to merit a fairly large stone. And so I'm like trying not to be too excited because I could be squealing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so
Yeah.
excited about this stone. Okay, so
There are not a lot of large fractures in there. That is super clear.
No. There's like, you can kind of see this little curl right here, but that looks very superficial. And we have these like kind of flakes through here, and I'm not sure, I'm going to have to turn it around to see. But look at the quality of color that's going all through this area. That's what we're going to get. And it's going to be darker because obviously like the stone is only going to be backlit by its own light that's reflecting through the top of the stone back through from those bottom facets, right? And so it's going to probably reach between that dark teal and this like light version that we're looking at right now. It'll be somewhere in between. So that's going to be a rich stone, y'all. Oh my gosh. Ken is saying that it's hilarious that it's still daylight there. It's been night for 2 hours here now. And like, yeah, it's super daylight for both of us.
Yes.
Montanese and Oregons. What latitude are you? Do you know?
I don't. I'm right on the Canadian border though. So whatever,
She's high.
49th parallel or whatever on
High
Earth.
lats. Yeah. We're at 44, and yeah, we've got another hour and a half about of daylight. Poor Florida. What were we talking about loving the sun? And so let's see, we've got cinnamon and peppermint schnapps all mixed together, right? Is it that kind of Sunday?
It is that kind of stone too.
Steinkranz to you on that one.
Right? Mm.
With 7-Up on the side. Yeah, this is a beautiful nug. Let's get closer, shall we?
Yes.
Tomcat is asking, Karen, are you going to have membership for your channel? You know, I was asking that the last live, I think. And I don't know. Do you love having your membership side, Allison?
I do, because I can post stuff that would otherwise tank my channel.
That is a
Yep.
good point. Like they love you, and so they're members, and you can
Yep.
be you.
Yep.
Oh, that is such a good point.
I can stray from the rock related stuff, and they're more accepting of that than my general audience would be.
And the algorithm,
Yes, and the algorithm would
the
be.
evil rhythm.
Yeah, the evil rhythm. Yes. Yes. Yes, it
That
is.
is a
It is
good
the
point.
back door for the evil rhythm. It is the secret corridor, the underground railroad for the evil
Right.
rhythm.
I hadn't thought that is so cool. That's very wise, Allison. Yes, I like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you know what, Tomcat? I think so. I think I'm gonna do that. Because I just didn't really have a good excuse why to before, and now I do. Because you guys can see the like weird shenanigans that I would otherwise not really. I've got a lot of
Yes.
that on my phone that I'm like, nah, that's not going into a video. Very, very cool. All right, and so here's another, wait. Okay, so we have oh my gosh, there's so much going on here. You guys are awesome in the
Okay.
chat, and I'm missing a whole bunch.
I wondered about that too, Bear, because that one that's very center almost has a like spinel kind of shape. So I didn't think necessarily garnets, but that the garnets and sapphires do go hand in hand.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too when I saw that little nug. So we're gonna
Mhm.
get closer, and we'll try to see like what's going on with that shape, and then we have some wise here. 49th. That's a lot. You guys are really high. That is crazy high.
Yeah.
We're only 44 down here. I mean, we're kind of lowly at this point.
Yeah. It gives us long summer days, but also very short winter days.
Very short, right? And I don't like the sunlight. Meow. Give it a chance. It's okay. And boy, 27th. Yeah. But I do like that balmy warm. That's so nice. And then I like this uh different colored sapphires. Heck to the yes, right? And so do you want to talk about the different colors of sapphires a bit, Allison?
Yeah, I'm not real familiar with what colors or why. I do know that a lot of these more pale colors, if you're these are not heat treated, and if they were heat treated, they may possibly turn blue.
Yeah.
So but I don't know of any kind of, sapphire in sapphire kind of creations or garnets in sapphire. I have no idea
But
if
you know
that's
what I like?
possible, or it is a Montana sapphire. Yes, Cody.
Yeah. I like the natural ones.
Me
And
too.
one of the coolest things that actually I've gotten to know more about just by hanging out with the other shoulder devil, Theo, is that they can be bicolor. That you can have a guy like this, and dependent
Yes.
on if you are aware of the axes, kind of like tourmaline and sunstone for that matter, that you can get a stone that starts off like being more aqua on one side, and then it like zones over to like granny's apple green on another axis or another angle that you hold it. And
Or
there are,
yellows and greens together often. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
and pinks, like
Yes.
some really pretty pink ones. And he actually, the one that he cooked up 3 stones for the wedding ring for that he used for his eclipse nuptial situation there, the thing. And he was showing the different ones, and there was one that was like this just cobalt blue, and then it went into this indigo, almost purple. And we're like, that's the one, that's the one. It was just so pretty because it did have that kind of bicolor on the axis thing. And so these
Mm-hmm.
Montana sapphires are just incredible. And you don't know what you're really getting until you get pretty far into the cut in the polish.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're probably uh, unless you're really, really knowledgeable and you work with them all the time, and then you probably know what to expect a little bit more. But I've been watching Theo do some, and it's like a surprise each time. It's so cool. And so, any more guesses on this like wild inclusion that we have right here? It might actually end up in the finished one too. It just depends on how deep it is. I love, love, love. And in some circles, inclusions in faceted stones are less desirable. I think that they're the coolest thing ever. You know, like leaving those like little fingerprints of their original nature, because what put me off of faceted stones when I was a jewelry maker in the beginning and a lapidary artist in the beginning is that you take something that was original and its onlyest one on the entire planet, and you made it look like everybody else. You know, take this ruby, and like now, if you make a standard round brilliant out of this ruby, like it looks like all these other rubies. Like, why would you ever do that to a stone? You know, I love agates because every single one is different, and the sunstones, every single one is different. And so to endeavor to make sure to keep the originality of each stone and have it still be able to sing with its voice is part of the objective, even with the faceting in my camp anyway. Yeah.
I second
So
that.
did I just diatribe? I think I did a little bit. Sorry.
I loved it.
A little soliloquy. And we've got Manny over here. In Oz, we get a lot of green, blues, and yellows. What would you say you've seen the most of, Allison? She says 1 second. She's gonna maybe check on that. But from given the like stuff that I've seen at Theo's and in the bags that I have here, it looks like, you know, like clears and yellows, and then maybe pinks, and then you get into the teals and greens, and then blues are like maybe a little bit more on the rare side unless they're cooked. Not entirely sure, but you guys got some incredible sapphires over there in Oz, that is for sure. And see, we have from America, Montana sapphires come in a variety of colors, including blue, green, teal, pastel, yellow, and more. Thank you so much, John. And definitely, we're experiencing that right now, and we love it. And then pink sapphires are pretty rare here. Yeah, have a couple of them, and let's do this and that. Whoa, not me. Wait, wait. Hold on. And are you still muted?
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Ooh, look at that red one in there.
Holy buckets. Oh
See
my
now,
gosh,
and
look at that.
Caden's grandpa gave us these, and he even started to facet that one.
Oh my gosh. Those are definitely heirloom stones.
Yes, those are.
Oh, wow.
These, and I could see like a yellow one down here in the end. How yellow is that one? But more blue green, yellow pink. There's a pink one.
Yeah. Oof. Raise your hand if sapphire's your birthstone.
So I mean, kind of that aqua color is more common there in Gem Mountain.
Nice. Wow. Those are absolutely, I don't know if I've seen that many raw sapphires all at once.
Man, that one in there is juicy.
Oof. Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of what you were holding up there is the color of the one that we have underneath the microscope when it's not being lit.
And I wonder if I sent you one of these. And if I did, I was feeling so generous.
And if you didn't, then I can still come
Then
over.
maybe next time. I get these sapphires with the beautiful little stars inside of them.
Oh, I don't know. You know what? Like you guys are all gonna be shocked, but
Do you
oof,
see it?
yes. Dermager. Wow.
And I mean,
That's
that
insane.
is not common, but I do have a few that I have found.
Mhm. I'm gonna have to look through the ones that you showed me or shared with me, and oh my gosh, that is so cool. You're
I
holding it just right
know.
now, and you know what? You could cut it with that like perfectly framed. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
that. Oh, oh my gosh,
Let's see if I can get the
my
other one to
mind
show
is
like
blowed.
that
If you did share one with me, I'll just cut it up and send it back. You should be
too.
wearing it.
They're beautiful, aren't they?
And
I can
those of
get
you who raised your hands, you can put them down, but, it'll be nice to go back through this and find
yeah.
out who all the September babies are. Yeah, and I knew that me and Meh were that is so cool. I can't
It's
believe
pretty
that.
special.
That is
Yeah,
really
that
special.
that one I may never ever part with, but there are a couple that have those neat little stars. That's a juicy chonker. So, like you had said, am I worthy of this? Karen, I have bottles of I have sapphires. I even have gold. Don't let me get your gold bug bit.
Oh. Ruh-roh. I am
Ruh-roh.
coming over. I'll bring the coffee and the
Yes.
microscope and the faceting machine. We'll just
But
hang out.
what does one person do with, I mean,
Woo.
if you can make beautiful jewelry out of them, that's way better than them just sitting in these bottles. So, but yeah, that's kind of the aqua color is more common, and the stars are very uncommon. That beautiful star.
So Afia has a word, and I do like it. Asterism. Sapphire
um,
asterisms.
uh,
Yeah.
Bear had a word too. Flubber, blubber,
Yeah, I did see I put that up earlier. We'll do it again. We'll get a rebate on that one. That goes into the lexicon as well. But, yeah, there are, like you could design a cut that was exactly on the asterism. Oh, that would be so crazy.
Yeah, we might
I
have to work something out in the future, Karen.
sure. And I'll play like, I don't know if you guys got a chance to see when Patrick was playing with the cut design program for the faceting, but, that is a program that you can, dial in the refractive index, and you can look at your stone and make your cut accordingly to make sure that, it's gonna do the very best for your stone. Yeah, I
Awesome.
it's the
Oh,
thing Rocky said. It's that thing.
computers do play nice, huh? Yeah, exactly. What?
Yeah,
That's
that thing.
amazing. Oh, what a handy program.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, what's cool about the faceting, I think, is that you can, you can take the geometry, which seems so cold and heartless, like I was saying about the ruby. Like, you take this thing that's just the originalist onlyest thing on the planet that looks like just it, and either with this cold geometry you can like make it into something that's the same as all the other ones, and it can lockstep with it. But the artistry of faceting is preserving that unique nature and building architecture that just mirrors its intense onlyest beauty instead, and so like you can just be like the thing that gives it a chance, like creates the stage for it, as opposed to making it go into the bucket of it being the same as everything else. And so that is much more interesting. And I love that Patrick shared that with all of us, because you get more of an idea of the artistry behind the faceting. It's not just a mechanism to create a cold stone. Um, I mean, there's some of that out there in industrial stones, but
And
there's such
that's why
work.
you're worthy of my stones, Karen. Oh,
Sweet, sweet love.
oh, that was like the
That's so
Sarah
good.
McLachlan commercial where, like, send Karen your uncut lifeless cold stones, and
Right.
she'll take them from but like you said though too, I almost prefer a rough stone to something that's been cookie cutter cut, because it is an original, like you said, all the agates in it. But that's also what I really like about your jewelry, is that you aren't afraid to play with different shapes and play with different ideas, and it is untypical, and that's what's so thrilling about a finished piece from you, is that it is untypical. It's
Aw,
outside the box. It's outside that cookie cutter.
thank
And I
you.
think that I wish that more jewelers did think like that. I think too often they get stuck in the diamond wedding ring kind of mentality, and everyone looks just like the other one, where it should be, I love the idea of the program where it's going to analyze the clarity and what best cut you're going to. That's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's a super duper cool tool, and
Yeah.
I think that, you kinda hit the nail on the head as far as you'd almost just rather have a rough. Like,
Hmm.
I seriously walked away from Tucson Gem Show, the last time that I went, and I kinda swore it off because, like, it was too much of that, taking beautiful stones and making them into corpses that had no soul. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not kidding,
Yeah.
like, just the mass production of it, just like, I felt like, Ace Ventura when he walks into, like, the trophy room and he's like, like, "More." You know, I can't. I just can't. And, I'm not, throwing shade on the market because I get why it's there, and I love that people can, acquire these stones, and if that's, like, the only aquamarine or only ruby or only thing that you're gonna be able to lay your eyes on and see the beauty of it, great. But as far as a creator, I think we can do better, and we can keep it original and keep it, having maybe some natural edges or leave that inclusion in there. What is it that can be embraced about this thing that sustains its beauty? Like we can
Yeah.
harmonize with it instead of
Yes.
muscle it into
Yes. Yes.
something. Yeah. So yeah, we're definitely on the same page here, and I think that we're getting some love in the chat for that as well. Thank you guys. Yeah, made, handled, adultered, and
Cool.
yeah, Rocky was hoping for somebody to break out in the arms of an angel. I was gonna actually sing a bar of "In the Arms of a Lapidary," but whichever way you want it. That's Sarah McLachlan. Um, Very good song. And yeah, Gem Cut Studio. Yeah. And that's like uh,
Soul says, no soul. What a horrible thought.
yeah. Yeah, here we are. No soul. Yeah, for the soul adventurous, like say it isn't so. Um, and I like this. I have to have unique shapes on fire obsidian. It's a shame to waste any of it since it's so spendy. And at the same time, Kyle, don't you agree that like it makes it so that it's undeniably it's the onlyest it's ever gonna be on the planet. Like, there will never be one of the same shape with the same fire inside. I mean, I think it's an apt celebration of how totally precious the, fire obsidian is, and we can sing those tunes as far as how precious those things are, the onlyest on the planet of the magnetite fire for obsidian. How awesome is that? We love it. Um, and what you just explained is right now how I think about my calves. I love that, and I think that's why I'm so attracted to your calves. I love the work that you do for sure. There's a a really wonderful, I think, ethic going on with all y'all that I know working. I'm seeing like Ben does it too. These just gorgeous cabs that retain raw edges sometimes, the druzy pockets, the free form. It's I understand needing to calibrate stuff, but at the same time, it's so much more exciting when something preserves all of its good nature. So you're not like cutting off fingers or toes or limbs just to make sure that it's a teardrop. A toe drop is what I was about to say. Sorry. And I think you're muted. So yeah, I don't know if you meant
I
to.
am muted because my kid won't be
Oh.
quiet.
We'll just yell louder than that.
Ah.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Big time. All right. And so what in the wrap up here, shall we send them off with Allison? We do know that we've got a video coming from you and the young prairie kid, and then your live coming up on Wednesday. And is there anything else going on?
Not in the near future, not that I can think of. I did not go to sleep till the sun came up this morning, so I could be forgetting important stuff right now, and I have no idea. But I think that sounds right on point, Karen.
Little brain numb.
It could be a little, yeah.
I hear
Yeah.
that. Okay. And so thank you again so much for what is an incredible bounty of stuff to both look at underneath the microscope and then to play with. You know, a bunch of this stuff is going to get shined up and cabbed and all that wonderful stuff. We will hopefully be able to have you on again when we do the mega microzone. You want to do that?
Yeah, we could definitely shoot for that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
we also are overdue for another brainstorm, everybody. So
Agree.
we're
Yeah,
gonna
so
load
show
up
me the
these.
forums, and then we're gonna have a big, yeah, mental collab again.
That sounds awesome. And okay, we have if no one has told you recently, we appreciate, respect, and
Aw.
love the two of you. Thank you so much, John. Yeah, and we love you too. We love all of you. And John, thank you so much, especially you always are so very supportive and fabulous. And so we love you guys. Kid Curry, Kyle, of course, Jenny, Rocky, Manny off your rocka, Meg, Lesby Rockin', Tiger Eye, of course, John, Lisa, and Cheryl. Thank you so much again for the opal today. Like you forgave me for like a Friday night's debacle about who gave me what that fire agate is, and she gave me yet another thing. And so you are the best sport in the wide world. Diane, Lava Bison, thank you for being here. Tomcat, Josh, Jenny, Cynthia Foss with all of her whys. Dave Lou, you're fantastic. Thank you for watching. Boot, and let's see, Melissa, of course. Ken and Lisa, of course, as well. And you guys, I think something should be going on over at the Discord. I've been hearing the bloop bloop like all through this whole thing. And we were having a great time over there in go to the very bottom of the menu. There is the lounge in the different channels. That's an audio and a video lounge. And you can watch folks working there, and you don't have to like have your audio or your camera on. And so you can just be like a happy lurker and just listen in and watch, or you can take part. But what's really cool about it is that everybody can share in. You can have your camera on. You can do what me and Allison are doing right here, except for be part of the entire thing. And I love that. I want to explore that more. I want to have an open studio down there in the lounge that like maybe even goes 24/7. And so like let me know what you guys think about that in the Discord. And Ryan, he's still here. Thank you so much for being here as well. Ken just put up the Discord link again. So if you're not part of the Discord, that's a 48-hour invite, so you can go ahead and join us up. Thank you so much again. Yep, Jay Hick is saying that he's probably going to go live again, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be working too, and who knows, I might even turn my camera on while I'm grinding away on those wonderful stones from both Prairie Girl Rocks right here, Allison and Kyle, and all you all. So, Prairie Girl, will you sing us out?
I will. I will.
Okay.
And sing along at home if you know the words. Pretty rocks out on the prairie, pretty rocks are everywhere, pretty rocks for us to look at, pretty rocks are everywhere. There's a pink one and a green one and a blue one and a yellow one, and they all are very pretty, and they all are everywhere.
Woohoo. All
Thanks
right.
everyone for watching tonight.
Thank you for being here, you guys. You know that we love you. We love the rocks. You guys all rock. Rock on. And we will see you very soon at one of these lives somewhere up in here. All right. Cheers, everybody.